What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and today we'll be talking about Kaspa, KAS USD. It is the 19th day of June, and here we are sitting at about 3 cents, just below 3 cents, with roughly 11 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It's been about a week, maybe a little bit over a week since we talked about Kaspa last. It might have been a week to the day, I don't know. And the reason why I'm talking about today is because, I just want to do a little pulse check. We really haven't gone anywhere. We're still in the same range that we've been in. We have seen some volatility over this last week, a little bit of a move up, a little bit of a move down. In fact, I want to see Kaspa. Sure, let's use Kraken because there's more volume there, sure. Not a whole lot of volume on the way down, but that's okay. You're at the ass end of this long consolidation phase. There shouldn't really be a lot of volume, not until you're breaking out one direction or the other. So the fact that you've seen a lot of volume here and it couldn't really break you out, there was no volume on this second attempt. You had a lot of volume here, but all you got was a lower high, and now you're coming back down. I really strongly do believe we're going to see some lower price action over the coming weeks, if not over the coming days. And what I mean by lower price action doesn't necessarily mean below this low. It just means lower, right? And maybe we find support there and we come back up, we get another lower high. And then it's sometime in August before we actually see prices below this low. I do think in time we're going to get below that low, that little low right there of about, what is it? Of about 2.5 cents. I do believe we're going to get there. As far as when are we going to get there, it could be 4 days from now. It could be today. It could be 2 months from now. I don't know. Probably somewhere within that time, but maybe it's later than that even. Who knows? Looking at this on the short term, looking at this on the 1 hour time frame. A little bit of volume, relatively speaking, on the 1 hour. It looks like a lot, but then you zoom out and it loads. And it loads. All right, well, whatever. You zoom out and it loads, and it's really not that much volume. Okay, so looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, I'm not impressed by that little piece there. Looking at the RSI, very bearish RSI because you are just consistently getting oversold and you're not even getting above the 50. That's terrible, guys. You are in a terrible environment right now, especially being that you're at relative lows here and your overall relative lows within this range. Yeah, I definitely think you're going lower. Looks like you are in some type of a trend down, lower lows, lower highs, right? That whole shebang there. We look at the stochastics, very disgusting as well. And the MACD is also sad. I mean, here you had, I wouldn't say bullish divergence, but still some type of, it looked like the bearish momentum had a hard time building. And you built some bullish momentum. You did really well there with the MACD, and you didn't do anything well with the price. You barely moved up. In fact, in this barely move of an upside move, all you saw was a lower high. So that's a sad use of a bullish cross there. Likely you're going to come back down. You did, I mean, to be fair, you did false cross here, and now you're green again. There's a chance that you could move up from here. I'm just not impressed. Let's say you even break this trend. I still wouldn't be impressed. Likely what you're going to do is you're going to take from a high to a low. You're going to pull up to this area here, find resistance. You're going to pull up to this area here, find resistance, and then you're going to move down. So if only if you move up from here, you might find resistance around 3.15 to 3.33 cents, but I don't think you get much past that personally. You're probably going to go lower. Looking at the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame here. From a low to a high, you have gone below your golden ratio. You actually found resistance there. Now, this does not look good. This is no bueno. On the bright side, it's the 4 hour. It doesn't mean anything dramatically terrible, but it likely means that you're going to go lower. Whenever you get below the golden ratio and you reject the golden ratio like that, typically, not always, but typically, you do go to the 12721618. Let me show you what I mean by typically, not always. From a low here to a high here, relatively speaking, imagine none of this price action existed yet. You closed below the golden ratio, and you actually found some resistance. I guess you closed back above it, but you still found some resistance here. If we do something like this, maybe we will climb afterwards. But until we see something like this, I'm sticking with the idea that this is bad, likely a signal that we're not just going lower here, but lower below this low of $0.28. We're probably going to go down to 2.6 cents, to 2.44 cents, okay? And with that, we really do run the risk. How far out do I have to zoom? We run the risk of going below that low that we set up back in February. Yeah. I mean, that's what's happening here, is that we run the risk of going of going below that low. All determined by this golden ratio rejection. Looking at the 4-hour time frame with the indicators on, the RSI is sad, right? Bounced off the oversold zone, didn't get much there. Oversold in the stochastics for a prolonged amount of time. That's not a very good thing. And the MACD's building bearish momentum. You're staving it off now, but you don't typically just see this. You don't typically see this. Typically what it is you die off and you get another deep red mark here. You're dying off, you get another deep red mark here before you actually flip. It doesn't just build and then boom, then you flip green. That's typically not what happens. You build more bullish divergence on the MACD and then you flip green, typically, right? It's like it didn't just peak out here and then you went to flipping green. You peaked out and then you had a lower peak or higher peaks technically. Lesser peaks, I should say, for the bearish side. If that doesn't make sense, it might be my fault. I'm just talking. Daily stochastics looks bearish, pointed down, getting oversold, bearish. RSI looks bearish because we got oversold and we did not really live that long above the 50, and here we are back below the 50. Paired with the stochastics makes me think we're going lower. The MACD is clearly bearish because we've crossed bearish here, getting below the 0, maintaining a long drive of bearish momentum. We built some bullish momentum, and what have we done with it? Not much. In fact, everything that we built and we worked so hard for over the last couple of weeks has been given up in the last few days. So, not impressed. Hanging out down at the lows, rejecting the highs, makes me think we're going to go lower. Best case scenario right now is that we find a double bottom and that we maybe make a move up from there. But even from there, I wouldn't think that you get above these highs. I would still think that an inevitable drop is coming your way. And just because you get below this low, maybe we do from here drop and you get just below the low, doesn't mean that you're dumping right now. Maybe it does, but probably you'd find some support in that area before making your final plunge. You're probably going to plunge with the rest of the market, if I had to guess. But Kaspa does it kind of moves to the drum of its own beat, doesn't it? Moves to the rhythm of its own drum. I don't know, whatever that saying is. I can't think of it now. I know it's not either of those things that I just said, but it's like either of those things that I just said. From a low here to a high here. Yeah, this is bearish, guys. Golden ratio 1272, double top rejection. Back down to the golden ratio 1886. 200 levels calling your name, the 2618 levels calling your name, something and anything really in between this area is possible. That's 1.199, so let's just call it 1.2 cents to 2.34 cents, which would be at a minimum about a 22% drop from here, regardless of what kind of volatility we see in the wake, and at a maximum 60% drop from here. And of course, there is that very strong possibility that we go to the money zone, which would only increase those deficits. We're either going to find support at this area of support here, where we found support, or we're going to find support here where we found resistance and where we had a little bit of a wick right there too, somewhere in that range. Hit that like, and that's like end of bear market stuff. That's where I will be buying Kaspa. That's where I will be heavily encouraging the damn world to be buying Kaspa. But until then, bear market, lower lows. See you later. Bye bye. Maybe I'll talk about the weekly real quick. I mean, yeah, you're probably going to get oversold with the weekly. Stochastics getting oversold. Weekly MACD, it's all bearish. There's no good signs here. No good signs at all. If anybody's looking at this saying this is a good sign, we're moving sideways instead of moving down, well, this was a sideways zone, and here you had a more robust bounce. And what did you do? You still went down. You found resistance at prior levels of support, just like you did here, just like you did here. Lower lows. Here we go. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.